And we are live. Hello. This is a very special stream for me. Why? Well, it's not special if you're on the YouTube side of things, but if you're on the Twitch side of things, this is my first stream where I have more than 9 followers. I've finally hit the double-digit range. Now, you might wonder why I'm making a note of this. Well, I was actually hoping that, I would hit that goal before my 29th birthday, which, if you don't know, is the second Saturday of February. So yeah, I am very excited. And to think I didn't really do any promotion for this sort of thing. I guess part of the reason why I didn't really promote myself was because I just wanted to see how far I could get it without actually doing, well, anything. And I think the fact that I hit double digits without promoting myself, it's something I can at least kind of take a small amount of pride in. Now, obviously, if I had been able to get more in the span of a year, or I could probably be prouder, and I probably would actually have hit 10 followers on Twitch sooner, or if I had actually started it on Twitch instead of YouTube. I'd be willing to bet money that YouTube right now is the easiest to gain subs if you get into the shorts game, which I'm probably going to get into soon. I want to get started with my essays first. What I'll do when... is probably get into the essays. Then I'll probably plan out a stream of the game Red Flag, and do a short highlighting one of the more insane paths. That's what I'll do, and I'll advertise the date. I will need a bit of help planning that out, but that's mainly because, well, there is one thing I'm not sure about. See, one thing I wish YouTube would implement would be the ability to have shorts self-destruct after a certain amount of time. And by that I mean they stop showing up in the algorithm. You could still look at them if you accessed them off, if you, went to the channel, but, I say this mainly because, for example, you know Philip DeFranco? I've seen cases where, his shorts are recommended to me, and it's possible they could still be relevant, stuff about the war in Ukraine right now. Oh, so it's kind of confusing. If it was up to me, I'd make it so that YouTube Ubers could, select a time period for how long a short can show up. By default, YouTube videos that are just meant to be memes or stream highlights, those can stay in for as long as the creator wants, but news stories, I would say those should have an expiration date for when they stop getting recommended to you. I'm not saying YouTube should remove them the second they become out of date. Far from it. Just, either make it so they stop getting recommended or add a label saying, now outdated or something. So anyways, I am thinking of doing something special for the Friday before my birthday, which is the 9th. If you can't tell, I was born on the 10th. Specifically, you know how I've streamed Factorio a few times before, but have never actually beaten the game because I've never done like a full series on it. I'm not one of those speedrunners. Rather, I'm thinking that on Friday I'll actually beat the game for the first time using mods. What mods do I have in mind? Well, I'm not going to list the whole mod list because I'd have to launch Factorio, and I'd rather not do that in the middle of Tales of Symphonia, since while neither Tales of Symphonia or Factorio are like particularly demanding on my system, I doubt my PC could handle both at the same time. Like, before anyone asks, when I built this PC, I did not intend on starting streaming. Like, what I probably would have done if you had told me I would get into VTubing, I probably would have guessed that I would have been in a clip hipper if I had known about the term at the time. Although, admittedly, huh? That was weird. Thank you. Although, what was I saying? Admittedly, I don't think VTubing was as big back then. Like, I think it was just getting started, at least in the English sphere. Like, so anyways, when I turn 29, that's the year I'm gonna, like, start, or, like, getting my life in order. Specifically, I want at least 3 of the 5 following objectives complete. Living by myself, having debuted a proper model, that was the most recent if you can't tell. Having been on at least one date, even if it crashes and burns, as long as, like, I'm not humiliated. Let's see what else. Getting my own place, and also, just like setting up some passive forms of income. Now, if I had to guess, I'd probably say getting my own place, is debuting a model, and maybe going on a date. It are probably the ones most in the cards for me, but I didn't really write them down, I just winged them off the top of my head, so don't be surprised if I only accomplish one of those. In case you're curious, I am turning 29 on the 10th. I am not doing a stream because, well, I just don't feel like changing my schedule that much. Also, it's not like there is a ton I could do. Like, let's see here. Well, I could hypothetically start a Skyrim stream. I'd rather not, since, well, I mentioned this earlier, but I'd rather, or like, have Skyrim debut with a particularly big mod. Like, I could hypothetically do something like the Forgotten City, which, but if you don't, which you might be thinking of the 3D of the game that was made on Unreal Engine from last year. That started out as a Skyrim mod. The difference between the game and the standalone mod and the mod is that, well, the game has all the Elder Scrolls lore excised from it. The problem is that since I've beaten the Forgotten City, I pretty much know how to speedrun it, and I imagine that if you guys would want me to play through it for the first time, so unfortunately it's not going to be an option. That being said, if you do want a video of someone playing through it, ooh, that is really good. But anyways, if you want a good video, go watch Zero Period Productions playthrough it. Which I will try and link in the description if I remember. So anyways, I've actually been thinking what I want to do for a trailer when I debut a proper model. And I actually have an idea. It's not going to have, like, a lot of fancy animations. Like, it would really depend on if I, like, was to join. Anakin and Skywalker's least favorite weapon. But anyways, it would depend on if I was to join a group. Like, I would probably go for, like, some flashy action scene if I actually, like, was part of a group. But I'm going to assume that I'd debut by myself. If that is the case, what I would want to do is basically, like, have a few people reviewing dossiers from me. Be voiced by some people. Combination of like, I have a few names in mind. It's just I don't know if I could pull the strings to get them to. Things to get them. Like, basically, it would be the YouTubers Kraut, a dose of Buckley, and I don't know, maybe a third. 2 other male ones I follow. Basically, they'd be arguing over which is my backstory from lore, like saying, and they'd all like seem like they'd contradict each other. But then or at least the first 3 would. But then, like, the 4th one, who in this context I'll say is a dose of Buckley, he would say, "Look, why don't we just look? He's here. Why don't we just let him tell us who's the correct one?" And I'd say, "Gentlemen, I appreciate you arguing over me, but you should know you are all correct." Like, basically, I would like have, like, it be so that, like, each one would have, like, a different model. Like, I probably will, like, do a slightly different in variation of this. Like, for example, like a combat version. And, like, I'll just mess around in the V-Roid studio. And also, get some, see if I can find, like, any, like, battle armor on Booth. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna open up Booth right now. Ooh, someone actually put a business suit on here. Although it does cost yen. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Oh. Anyways, it's honestly just amazing how much stuff you can find on Booth. Like, I actually found an outfit of Robin from the Teen Titans series, the 2003 one specifically. I specify this because I'm aware that that Teen Titans Go has, like, basically the same outfit, but it's more in terms of the size, since, well, Teen Titans Go has a very chibi look. I'm doing fine. Pretty good, actually, and pretty optimistic, since I actually do have something planned that I'm going to work on tomorrow. Not a stream, per se, like, I take Thursdays and Saturdays off, but rather something for the YouTube side of things. I'm going to be starting making video essays now. The first one is not going to be anything fancy. It's just basically ramblings to get something that's been on my mind off for a while, but the second one will be something that I actually do some research and put some effort into. And it actually does answer a question that I'm pretty sure that if you ask people, they would actually wonder, oh yeah, why is that the case anyways? I had Regal equipped as the main party member because, if you don't know, in this dungeon, there are, like, big boulders, and I honestly thought we'd deal with them by just having him throw them around. Like, it would have been pretty... Like, he is actually probably the strongest member in terms of physical strength, like... But that did not change what I actually had to do, which was use the Sorcerer's Ring to plant bombs. In honesty, I'm kind of surprised that what we don't do is just, like, use some telekinetic ability for the Sorcerer's Ring. But anyways, I will, like, I'm not sure if or how I want to handle the SA in regards to the Twitch side of things. Like, I would gladly just, like, upload it here for you guys to watch if like YouTube, if like there was like a regular video uploading option similar to how YouTube videos can be uploaded, but there isn't, so... And it's not like it would be long enough to justify, like, a regular stream. Like, I'm aiming for, like, 10, 20-minute videos. Occasionally I'll do, like, a big project, but it would probably be, like, a collab with, like, another essayist or creator. Like, I'm not looking to compete with the right opinion, if you get my drift. There isn't a particular topic I'm going to be going with before you ask. Just, like, whatever comes to my mind, although the first 2 or 3 are going to be gaming related. Although the second one is kind of going to be also related to cinema. And before you ask, it's not like a dissection. In case you're curious, that apparently unlocks a dungeon later on. I'm not going for 100%, but hey, I might as well if I have the opportunity. This is a bigger boost for Rain than it is. Or rather was for Sheena, like... So, you probably saw today's State of Play. I did not stream it during when it happened because, well, I was working, and I'm not going to stream it now because, well, I watched it as it happened, so unfortunately there wouldn't really be much of a reaction from me since I'd already know it would happen. Like, I mean, I guess if I knew that there was, like, a significant enough difference between, like, the Japanese version and the English version, I might react to the Japanese version, but I don't think that was the case. It's not like, say, Nintendo Directs, as far as I know. But I bring this up because one of the games announced is one I'm actually pretty curious about. Metro VR. Now, I have not played any of the Metro games, but I am a fan of the Stalker games, and there's also the fact that, well, I want to actually give the Metro games a shot, since I've heard that they're inspired by Stalker, and I've enjoyed Chernobylite, which is also pretty clearly inspired by Stalker. Or so I literally see no reason not to at least try Metro, and there's also the fact that I have all the games in my Steam library. Indiana Jones, anyone? But anyways, I bring this up because aside from the fact that it's a Metro game, so I at least have a passing interest, and the good news is that the author of the Metro games has actually been surprisingly pro-Ukrainian. Like, not only has he actually, like, denounced the war, but he's an active supporter of Alexei Navalny, who's the main opposition to Putin, currently in prison, and quite frankly, I hope he gets freed soon, because from what I've heard, it is not a pleasant place that he's imprisoned in. But it's actually kind of funny how how you'd think that Stalker and Metro would have like a big rivalry, but from what I can tell, there is a huge overlap in the fan bases. It probably helps that Stalker is indirectly based on the book Roadside Picnic, whereas Metro is directly based on the, well, Metro books, which are inspired by Stalker. Also, Glukovsky is actually a gamer. Like, he plays his own games. So he actually has reason to, like, want to ensure that they're good. So I have reason to believe... So unless, like, he has a very different set of values than not just me, but most gamers in general, I have reason to believe that they're at least decent. If I had to guess, I'd probably say I prefer Stalker overall, but I could see myself liking, say, Exodus more than and Clear Sky, although considering how buggy Clear Sky was when I played it, that is not going to be a hard thing to do. So one thing that I've been thinking about in regards to future plans is, well, what do I want to upgrade for the stream next? I'm not gonna debut a proper model. It feels too close in at least in relation to how recently I started using this Vroid model. Like, I've been streaming for like 9 to 10 months, and for like eight or 9 of those months, I was using a pngtubers model. Well, instead, rather, I think that when I do get around to upgrading the stream, aiding something, it'll be one of 3 things. The first is, well, emote. Oh, those like emojis, emotes, I believe they're called. I don't remember the term off the top of my head, and I don't like have Twitch terminology memorized, so I apologized if that seemed a bit awkward. I actually would have created some by now if you could do so without being a Twitch partner. The second thing I might do is actually, like, see if I can hire someone to edit stuff down. I see what I have to do. At least I think I see what I have to do. But anyways, the third thing I might do is hire someone to make some custom background music for the stream. What I would have in mind would be something similar to the OST for Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. Now, I am not a superhero-themed VTuber. I am a spy-themed one. I'm just going with it because it sounds cool. In fact, you know what? I just realized that I had my desktop audio muted the whole time, but hey, at least my mic was still active. I'm going to play some of it right now. I hope that at Warner Music will allow it to play. If Warner Bros. sees this, do not claim this stream. I'm not currently monetized on YouTube, and I won't. And if you really have a problem with it, I will mute it. I will do my best to mute it while I'm it afterwards on YouTube side of things. I don't think Twitch has a problem with it. Also, considering that the movie this is for is like at least a decade old at this point, I don't think they should really have a problem. As long as I, like, keep it up. Like, you might wonder why I'm doing Batman instead of, well, James Bond, since if you can't figure it out, that was my main influence. I just think it sounds neat. I mean, that is actually a very valid strategy. Like, I don't think this particular part of the mine is something we'll be returning to. Kinda wish you would like, remote detonate them, like... Let's see what's in that last chest before I get... Well, at least I can say I answered that question. I'm going to go back to the regular music of Symphonia as well as, well, all the OST, but I'm of that game. I mean, the sound effects. But I'm going to show off 2 more tracks. The first one is the one that, if you've read the comic, you know what scene it's made for. And it is arguably one of the best scenes in any piece of Batman media. The second is the main reason you watch The Dark Knight Returns. And much like the song I'm about to play, you know what scene it's made for if you've read the comic. Tonight's presentation of The Mark of Zorro starring Tyrese Gibson. I wish there was a way I could, like, use one sword while having the cosmetics of another. You try to hold me back, but you're weak. You know it in your soul. You're nothing but a hollow shell, a rusty trap. The time has come. If you cannot figure out which scene I was referring to when I said that you know what scene this is for, in The Dark Knight Returns, it's different because it actually stars Bruce as an old man. The comic's author, Frank Miller, wanted it to write a Batman story where Batman was still older than Miller was at the time, and, well, Bruce is, like, canonically supposed to be 25, 29, I believe. Late 20s, early 30s. Frank Miller wrote a story where Batman is in his mid to late 50s, is when he wrote The Dark Knight Returns. Now, you might be wondering, how do they incorporate the death of Batman's parents, considering what I just said? And after all, The Dark Knight Returns starts with Bruce Wayne having retired from the position of Batman. Simple. Bruce is horrified by rising crime and realizes that he's lost purpose of why he became Batman in the first place. And the comic ends with actually has the Joker die. I'm not going to say how, since it's actually a pretty good fight, but the first Joker, or anyways, there is a second Joker that pops up in the Dark Knight Strikes Again. The circumstances are one of the many reasons why no one talks about the Dark Knight Strikes Again. But based on what I said, you might be wondering, who does Batman... I mean, if that's who Batman's final opponent in the comic is, no. Here is the other one or song you will know the scene it goes for, or if you've read the comic. You know, it really wouldn't be excusing your crime if you just tell us what you did. Like, it would only be excusing what you did if you actually tried to justify it. And even then, I'm not the type of person who immediately dismisses murder. Like, there are very specific cases where I actually would be willing to accept that killing is necessary. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, kill the bastard at the first opportunity. But, like, if it's something like, say, self-defense, like, you had to kill one person in order to save the life of another person, then I would consider that, like justifiable. And before you ask, I'm more thinking the example I would be using, for example, would actually be Man of Steel. You know how Superman killed Zod in that movie? Like, you know, fun fact, I am not a fan of Zack Snyder. Okay, you know what? I think it's time to go back to Tales of Symphonia as OST. But anyways, as I was saying, I'm not really a Zack Snyder fan. Like, I don't think he's the worst director. Like, even within the DC cinema films, I can't say everything, since, like, I haven't seen, like, any of the 80s or bad 80s or 90s DC movies. Like, I haven't seen Superman 4, Steel, or Batman and Robin. But I would say that he was better at directing things than David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Admittedly, a good part of the problem was, well, the editing for Suicide Squad and also the writing, but, like, I probably would have at least enjoyed Suicide Squad slightly more if he had been behind the directing wheel, but admittedly, I still would have I'd still probably be in a world where I'd insist that you put on Guardians of the Galaxy instead of Suicide Squad, but still, it's something. And I'd give him, but anyways, one of about Man of Steel, one of the things I actually think was the right call in that movie was the scene where Superman kills Zod. And I'm not just saying that because, well, of how it was implemented.
That's them.
I'm also saying it because...
Oh, crap.
Why do they always show up?
Well, it isn't Masters.
As they actually do make a big deal out of it in universe.
Damn it. Remember, Cap. Don't let up.
Like, it is actually treated with respect, and and considering that Superman hasn't, like, actually had to kill anyone directly up until that point, I can see why it would have a big deal. Like, there's a reason in why characters in series that don't have, like, the main character opposed to, like, taking another person's life will tell the main character it gets easy after they make their first kill. I mean, it gets easier, rather. And also, the funny thing is that while I haven't seen in Superman 2, I have seen in the scene where Superman fights Zod in that movie, and Superman just casually kills him by, like, throwing him into, like a deep pit.
It's my...
Don't be... They're after my life, too. Sheena is from Mizuho. Now...
Thanks.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
You don't.
Ow!
Colette!
She's running a fever. Move. Per se.
Good work.
Damn.
Not again.
I am Rhode Isle, the most. I hope you don't.
Zion, what?
Colette!
Well, looks like we'll be getting those Reinhardts up and running next.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
I'm going to...
I've carved the...
Huh? Persea. What?
Oh, she
Where's my daddy?
didn't have any control over her actions. That's what I thought. Well, at least this is not going to be a case where we have to, like,
Thank you for... Have you calmed down?
justify why we're hanging out with a traitor.
You
Like,
remember?
Yes. Why did you have an ex... I received it from a...
I knew it. Varley.
I wanted to learn how to wield... So Varley and I was taken to the...
The experiments on you were carried out by...
Which means that Zion is.
Presea.
No. Do you have any other... I have a younger sister. She left to go into service and my mommy died.
When you were a child?
Oh. At any rate, we can't just leave here in this village. Yes, the people...
Huh?
It's my fault, so please...
Please allow me. It seems that.
Of course you're welcome.
I went...
Thank you.
Now
I had the...
hurry.
All right.
From what I
So
understand, that...
you've lost the chosen.
Wait, does this mean Kratos...
Rhode Isle is ignoring our order.
Internal...
Say what you will. Either
What do you mean?
the chosen is useless as she is.
You've got to be kidding me.
Then, I suggest you seek the... I'm sure the people of Mizuho...
What's that guy trying? Ah, well, who cares? If he's...
I agree. And
Zelos is right, actually.
okay then. Thank you.
My cute little...
Thank you, Zel.
Come on, let's...
He, like, surprisingly pragmatic.
Oh.
I like Zelos. Oh, that's what it meant by quick jump. That's actually quite useful. I would not have minded it if we actually, like... like, had Kratos join us again, if only because, well, Zelos is basically a Kratos clone in terms of gameplay. Like, character-wise, they're the exact opposites. So it would be interesting to compare them side by side in terms of gameplay. Like, who does more damage? I actually don't consider that an insult, since, well, I'm assuming Martel is gonna want, like, a female body. So, unless she has gender-bending magic, she'd probably say, "You're useless to me." If... If like the events of the game played out, but Zelos was the one who showed up in Colette's place is when that would certainly be interesting. Although I've said it before, but the real funny thing would be if the fake chosen. This is why I went back here. In hindsight, I should have actually selected no when it said jump. Come to think of it, that does make me wonder how different and how half-elves age in comparison to, like, well, humans. Like, Lloyd I can buy is still in his teens, but I wouldn't be surprised if in human years Edis was actually, like, equivalent to an adult. Now I'm curious how old Rain is supposed to be. Let's see what... Apparently you need eat Regal oil to be active in order to get some of the Wonder Chef recipes. So far, I wouldn't say I outright dislike any of the party members. Like, I'm trying to think if there was an RPG where I did, like, actively dislike one of the party members. Like, I can think of anime where, like, I disliked a character or who was on the same side as the heroes right away. Like, the character who gave the main duo in the first Precure anime their powers, for example. I mean, or like super power mode, for example.
I don't care.
I found myself wanting to shoot them like the second or third episode after they showed up. I forgot what else I was going to say, so if I can remember it, I'll try and bring it up. Okay, yeah. Like, as I was saying, like, so far I don't think that in either Tales of Symphonia or Basiria, which was the first Tales game, I played and beat Eaton. Tricia is very wise. Isn't Orochi typically a name given to female ninjas? Okay, I'm actually curious. The feminine name Orochi. Like, I know Orochimaru is a name from Naruto, but like Orochi is normally by itself is normally a name that I see given to like female characters. Like the first example that comes to mind as well, I believe, is Orochi from Fire Emblem Fates. Huh. Turns out One Piece actually has a male Orochi as well. Okay, well, it looks like I'm more familiar with like female Orochis. So it looks like it's a relatively gender neutral name actually. I could actually see Violet being her real name. Like, she does have an association with the color purple, and honestly, that's not a bad... That is a good name for a girl. You know, funny thing is that I honestly am kind of surprised they didn't have it be like Orochi, or like Sheena only gains her like second name after forming a pact.
Right, let's go. Let's get out of here. I gotta know when to go. Be careful, everyone. Ready? Field barrier. Are you okay? First.
Goodbye, worthless enemy.
I'm tempted to look up if we actually ever do learn Sheena's like real name, but if this is one thing I've decided that if I'm going to learn, I might as well learn it the way the devs wanted me to. In case you're curious, I actually went here in advance while on yesterday's stream. So let's see here. I'm gonna actually look up something real quick. In case you're curious what I'm looking up, like, I know that for Lloyd, ooh, I just found out that Gennis can learn a technique called Meteor Store. But anyways, I'm trying to see if anyone would benefit from holding the Aquamarine. Like, they would unlock a specific tech. Since in a few previous episodes, I thought that you could, like, unlock Lloyd's elemental techniques if you just had him, if you just met the criteria, but it turns out that would only temporarily replace them. Carter, now's not a good time. Apologies. I mean, that isn't entirely wrong.
That was pathetic.
I'm guessing we have to clear whatever that is in order to progress. I sure hope there's like one of those restoring machines.
Are you okay? First aid!
Eagle die. Ready for this?
First aid.
Don't get in my way! Shoot him! Don't get in my way!
First aid.
Help is on the way! Nurse! All right!
I would have thought it would be yellow quartz that would make. My attacks have lightning elements, and it would be purple quartz for the earth. At least I didn't take any damage. This time I'm actually doing that as a shortcut because I get the feeling I need to do something back in the first room. Aha! I am now a Sith Lord.
Let's go all out! Let's get out of here! Rick, gotta know when to go!
So I mentioned that I'm turning 29 on the 10th, so I do have something's special planned. Specifically, I'm going to do which I already mentioned. But I'm doing it. But you might be one. And as I mentioned at the start of the stream, it is basically me launching a rocket in Factorio. Why am I doing this? Well, two reasons. First of all, it's for the AAI Industries, which is just Vanilla Plus. It would be a bit longer than Vanilla. Like, I imagine I could probably get like a seat, like beat it in a week. And by that I mean 4 or 5 streams, since while I do play it slowly, I'm not like that slow. Unless I was to, like, intentionally drag the game. Came out. I would probably beat it by then, but the second reason is I want at least one case where I have in fact beaten the game on recording. Or rather on stream before I actually like I could do a series, since I do want to do a series on the mod Crastorio 2, which is a very different beast than the base game. And before you ask, I will not be touching Crastorio 1, since, well,
All right, let's go.
it's not a sequel.
Are you okay? Ready for this? First aid. Ready for this? First aid. Spin kick. Like that?
I do have a mod list already chosen out for that, but there's one thing I'm not sure about. You see, in the past, when I've used, like, modded Factorio for, like, Friday streams, I would either list the mods in the description or put them in a paste bin. I'm now wondering if I should instead just make mod packs, which, if you don't know, basically allow you to, like...
That was just warming up.
like choose a bunch of mods and like they'll get downloaded on whatever from the Factorio mod portal at the same time. It's convenient if and for reasons you can probably imagine. And since it means I don't have to like waste all the have to risk hitting the character limit in the YouTube description. 5,000 characters if you're wondering.
This is ridiculous. Ready? Field barrier.
Actually, let's double check something. Yeah, I've got 2,865 characters in my... my current stream on the YouTube end. The description of it, rather. And while I don't use nearly as many mods in Factorio as I do in, let's say, Skyrim or Fallout, I still use quite a few, and although I probably wouldn't be able to make do with just like listing the names, since unlike with Skyrim, Factorio actually has a built-in mod portal. Like, you would only really like want to download a mod if you wanted to use a very specific version, and by that I mean manually download, like, if you're just like and when I say manually download, I mean like like you go on the website. Kinda wish that you could, like, knock out that monster with just a chest. That is one powerful boost, although I'm going to guess that it's going to be a trick question. Or rather, it's going to be a trap, since so far all the enemies have dealt electrical damage.
Because I'm beautiful.
Field barrier. Are you okay?
That was so pretty.
Are you okay?
You picked the wrong guy to...
We have no choice but to fight.
Let's get out of here.
Are you okay?
Demons just gotta know where to go.
Ooh.
Why are you in such a hurry to die?
Let's get out of here. Gotta know when to go.
Why are you in such a hurry to die?
Field barrier. Don't get in my way.
Ready for this?
First aid!
You picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Okay, you know what? I think I will call it a stream here. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. This is Friday. I will be playing The Escapists. That's my original plan of trying out a particular Hearts of Iron 4 mod fell through because, well, turns out the country I planned on playing as doesn't have any proper content and only has skeleton content at the moment. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, either live or via VOD. I don't care which, and I don't judge, obviously. But anyways, thanks. I'm Andreas Rebel, and I'll see you next assignment. Later.